Top of the agenda, the first major award of the postseason. It is our honour to announce. It is the 2018 Shadforth Financial AFL Coaches Association Champion Player of the Year. This is how the top five finished. There was a tie for fifth on 72 votes. Clayton Oliver, Jack McRae and Dane Beams. On 82, Brodie Grundy from the Magpies. 88, Tom Mitchell from the Hawks. 91, Patrick Cripps, who caught the coach's eye right through the year in losing teams. And that means the 2018 Shadforth Financial AFL Coaches Association champion player is Max Gawn from the Demons. He has... well, he's been a giant figure all season. He's led Melbourne's charge back to the finals. His deft touch, his tireless work rate, he's been admired by fans and peers and coaches throughout. His influence has been unmissable. He's got a major role to play in the finals and he's got a fair role to play in the post-season awards as well. And he claims the first of them. And it is our pleasure to welcome him to the desk to accept the accolade. Max Gawn, congratulations and welcome to AFL 360.
Thanks for having me. It's an honour to win the award. I got the call from a couple of people today. Goody was one of them, and he let me know that he won it in 2006. Yep. So he was very happy that I've taken his footsteps and managed to win a Coaches Award. And
to capture the eye consistently throughout the year of the coaches you can't ask for much more than that, can you?
Yeah, so the two coaches vote and the one that Goody votes for, so those votes, that just shows that you've played the role, but you get that sort of reward during the week when you speak to Goody. It's the one from the other coach that probably gets you the most. The fact that that coach thinks that you're the reason why they almost lost or did lose the game. That's probably the one that you do get a little bit more sentimental value for. So, I mean, I like the Goodies pump up as well, but the fact that you get that little appreciation from both coaches.
We haven't got the award.
No, we do.
Have we?
At the end, just.
I was going to say we've got a couple of here. We've got a snake, a lemonade, a water, some tissues.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You give away all our secrets here.
And 2 mobile phones. What do you want to take as the champion player of the year?
Well, I don't want to take your phone for the second time in 2 weeks.
There's a story there.
There is a story. Have a snake.
Thank you.
I have to have a bite out of it.
I'll keep it for later if you don't mind.
Have a bite of it. To be called, Max, to be called the champion player of the AFL, and we know the calibre of players who've won it before. We know the calibre of players who play in this competition. I just spoke about Patrick Dangerfield. Just spoke about Brendan Goddard. You are a remarkable story in this game. Do you feel that? Do you pinch yourself? Do you get sick of people saying, Max Gawn, wow, where you've come from, smoking in the car park, to being judged by the coaches to be the best player in the competition?
Yeah, it still doesn't sit that comfortably with me in terms of the previous winners of this award. So your Dustin Martins, Patrick Dangerfield, Gary Ablett, like there's some serious inside midfielders and dominant players. I'm not sure where the ruckman sits at this day. There's obviously some guys that have had some terrific years this year with Brodie and Steph and Cal Sinclair and guys like that. So we play a completely different role to some of these guys. So I'm still not sure where we sit in terms of the best players in the game or the most important in the game. But in terms of the journey, it's been a fun journey. This is the second time I've played every game in a season, and hopefully there's more to come. But I'm still only 95, 96 games into my career, and
how old are you, Max?
26.
So what do you reckon you got? You've lost weight. We know that. Your body, you're quite a durable player. Have you missed any games this year? Have you?
Not this year.
Last year?
Just serious ones. So I tore my hammy off my bone last year.
Yeah. But and not this year? No,
not this year.
So you hope to be playing, what, 32, 33, 34 maybe, if you can keep your body up and going?
I mean, seeing Sandy sign for another year sort of brings a tear to my eye. 35. And Sandy was similar. He didn't start playing footy early on, at mature age, and had a couple of problems with his body. So I think not playing footy might help me later on in my career.
You've achieved a lot in 96 games, so you'll be in the All-Australian side, I'm certain, on Thursday night. It'll be the second time in 3 years, and the middle year was ruined by injury. And it's not right to say it's happened in a hurry, because it hasn't. You had to wait a long time. But do you feel like this part of your career has really flourished in a hurry?
It's almost that theory, you've got to cash your chips in now. I've spent 6 years, a little bit of knee reco stuff, but a lot of VFL stuff as well. Played sort of 50 games in the VFL, and I was behind Mark Jamer, who was an All-Australian at the time as well. So, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'm more than happy doing my time behind Mark Jamer and waiting for him to either go down in form and me to go past him and try and get through my injuries and get my body up to scratch. And it makes what I'm doing now feel so much more special and similar to the way the team's performing. You wouldn't change how it's happened. Yes, it's been frustrating, especially the last 3 or 4 years when Roosy's come in, because we felt like we've got the in-house stuff settled and our culture's good and we're training good. Why isn't it happening on the field? That's why this year's feeling a little bit more special and similar to the way individually I've valued my game.
There's not a person who loves football, Max, who hasn't seen or appreciates and applauds the renaissance of the ruckman in the game. For a long time now, I thought we were going to have 6'3" everywhere, and they're all playing in all positions. And part of that renaissance of the ruck, and you mentioned all those other players, you know, people thought Callum Sinclair, not a bad player, really elevated himself. Brodie Grundy should be All-Australian with you on Wednesday night. But the one thing that's returned to the game, which I think the purists love, is the artistry of the tap work. And your tap work, and you do other things well, your tap work is just beautiful to watch. How did you develop it into such a weapon for you?
I was really bad at it.
How? What do you mean bad?
I didn't use my height for one, so I didn't get many hit-outs at all, really, in my first sort of 4 or 5 years.
What were you doing, just running in and not jumping?
Yeah, I had my shoulders down, head down. I wasn't proud of my height. I didn't use my height around the ground. And Matt Sunnick, a ruck coach, came in with Greg Stafford. He came in and taught me, and since he's come on board, I've really blossomed into my role as a ruck. In terms of the palm work, that's just training. It's similar to the best kicks in the competition, the best handballs in the competition. That's just something that I have to work on. It's something that I work on every day at training. And obviously it helps guys like Clayton Oliver, Angus Brayshaw, James Harms, these guys in the midfield. And that's my role when I'm in there, and that's what I got to do.
Last one. Who do you seek outside of Stafford and going up people at your club? Is there any former players that you converse with in any way?
It's probably a boring one, but it's definitely Mark Jamer.
Yeah, that's not boring.
He's the ruck coach at Bombers now, so I've probably gone away from that the last sort of 2 years. But in his last couple of years, what he taught me, as well as Greg Stafford, around using my body. Mark Jamer was 198 centimetres playing ruck and got All-Australian. I remember a day where he beat Nat Nui. He had a day against Sandilands where he got him.
He used to shove it down Brent Maloney's guts. I think they were the number 1 or number 2 combination in the league.
A little bit predictable, but because it was Brett Maloney every single time. But what he could do with the ball with his palm was super. So to be able to learn off him, which I thought was the best at that time, and then Greg Stafford, who's an unbelievable ruck coach, I think that's the reason why I'm starting to get a little bit of connection with my hand.
And the bigger picture, so it's a little while to wait, Friday week. Are you at the point where you're all happy to embrace the hype? There's a bit of hype around Melbourne. Are you just going to embrace it hitting September?
You have to, yeah. You don't. I mean, I read papers. I watch the show. I don't hide away from media, so you got to embrace that hype if you're watching it. There's always going to be comments on over celebration and getting ahead of ourselves, drinking our own bathwater. That's come throughout this year, but we've just swallowed that and kept going and not being aside in the top 8. We finally managed to do that 2 weeks in a row, which is good. So it is exciting. It's my first time playing in September. I'm normally in Kuta now, somewhere on Kuta Beach, having a bintang. So I'm pretty excited that I'm involved in this time of the year.
But Bali's not going anywhere, mate. You can get there whenever you can.
I think it'll be a sweeter bintang in October.
Jordan Lewis's email. When you got it, what did you think?
Yeah, we weren't a destination club. No one wanted to come to Melbourne. So to have Jordan Lewis pick out Melbourne, well, he says he did. It could have been his only option, but he chose Melbourne and he wanted to come here because of potentially the list or where he saw the club going. And then we picked his brain straight away. And I managed to, I live 2 streets from him, so I managed to take him to training the first day, and we've formed a close bond, and unfortunately for his sake he's been out of the midfield, so that close bond hasn't been receiving hits. But what he's done to Melbourne, especially this year, especially in the last couple of weeks, the leadership that he's shown, I feel like it's going to be a real valuable asset in the next couple of weeks.
No doubt about it.
So you're the coach's pick to formalise the presentation. Alan Richardson, the St Kilda coach, is here.
Congratulations,
Thanks, mate.
Scotty was supposed to come in too, but given you're playing against him, he didn't want to come in. He didn't want to make it feel good. Here's the car polish one. Well done on the air.
Take the tissues, Jam. Take the tissues.
That's my poor attempt at humour.
Yeah, that's okay.
But, no, well done.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
No, well on an outstanding year, and I did my bit. Last time we played, we had a reasonable day against you, but you got the 5 votes. Outstanding. No, terrific year, big fella, and all the best from all the coaches and the Coaches Association with the upcoming finals. Well done.
Thank you. I'll make sure I send a bottle of Pinot your way.
Good man.
Alan Richardson, with the formalities to Max Gawn, there's a Shadforth financial investment pack
That was
there.
funny, Richo. Don't worry. That was funny.
I can't say it was my idea.
Very good. All right, the rest of the...